forgetting things. It's gonna happen. Every rental company that I know forgets things. The largest rental companies, they forget things all the time. I forget things, you forget things. It's just going to happen. There are so many pieces to a tent that sometimes you don't bring enough of what you need. Oftentimes it's stakes,
center poles,
side poles.
Sometimes you bring the completely wrong tent top.
Sometimes you don't bring enough ratchets and then you have to use your truck ratchets, which in my case are orange and not white. You're just gonna forget things. It's gonna happen. You just try to minimize that from happening by putting in some systems in place. Like we have a chart that says how many side poles, center poles, stakes, stake bars go for each tent, and whether the side poles are metal or not. We have a little M next to it if it's metal, and then what kind of center poles go with the tent. And I have that right above where our side poles are. I did have them on both of the trucks as well, but they got lost in the wind or whatever, so I actually just made new ones tonight to put up. And then a new thing I started doing is including on the order a checklist of things that get crossed off as you go along to make sure everything's put on right. Now in my system, I do have an option to make a load sheet with every single item that if I just pick a 20 by 40 tent, it'll put everything on. But in most of these rental systems, you actually have to do something special. You have to like create a set. And when someone orders a 20 by 40 pole tent, instead of ordering the 20 by 40 pole tent, you go to the page where the sets are and put the set and make everything else so that they can't see it on their order. And then it's like this whole, it kind of is a pain. It's going to take me a long time to convert everything over to that, but I will in the future. And then what you do is you just print out a load sheet. The load sheet just is a checklist of everything, and that's what people load from, and then they take the invoice out for the order. So the invoice and the load sheet are separate. The load sheet is just something for the warehouse people. But it's gonna happen. It's one of the things that I don't really get that mad about. You think I should get like a lot more mad every single day that it happens, but it happens. Like I said, there's so many things, so many pieces to everything that goes out that it's just gonna happen. And I don't get that upset about it. I just kind of deal with it and be like, okay, day's a little longer. I have to go back to get something. I have one kid who gets so mad. Oh my God. And why is he getting mad? He just gets to work longer and make more money. I should be getting mad, but it just happens. It's part of it. And you just try to put in as many systems as you can to minimize it. Bring extra things. Like when we load side poles for tents, we load 2 extra wooden side poles for each tent that's going out, just in case one breaks, which rarely happens. But in case someone didn't load an entire tent, at least we have a whole bunch of extra side poles. Just put in as many systems as you can, things that will make you remember, things that your warehouse staff can reference. I just printed out 8 copies of my load sheet for tents that I'm going to put in various places on the trucks and the warehouse so that we always know. Also, that piece of paper that shows all the center poles and stuff, that's helpful when you're on the truck because you got so many tents that you can't expect all your employees to memorize how many side poles and stakes and whatever. So you just put that on the truck, and as they're taking things off, they know exactly how many side poles, stakes, and everything to take off. It helps a lot on delivery. And unfortunately, you know, ours blew off a few weeks ago and I haven't replaced it, but replace it again tomorrow. So it's gonna happen. You're gonna forget things. It's just part of it. Don't get too mad. Don't get too upset. Just roll with it and just try to come up with all those things that can minimize how often it happens. And by the way, I finished my floor in my basement. Looks good. Thanks for watching.